Welcome to the Miller Life Kitchen. Today we're pressure canning beef tips and gravy. Okay, so here are our ingredients. I have approximately 5.5 pounds of beef cut into 1-inch cubes. This is 1.5 pounds of sliced mushrooms, 6 cups of onion, 3 cups of beef bouillon that I made beef broth with. I use better than beef bouillon to make 3 cups of beef broth, red wine vinegar, Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, salt and pepper, and 6 cloves of garlic. I will be putting this recipe in my description box, so don't worry. I will put all the measurements there for you. And then where we're going to start first is we're going to be sauteing your onions and the garlic until the onions become translucent. I'm going to be using, to start that, the recipe does say butter, but I am going to be using rendered pork lard. I get this at a farmer's market near me, and I freeze it and then keep one working one into my refrigerator. So I'm going to use this instead of butter. I think it'll give it a great flavor to my onions and garlic. So I'm going to get that started, and I'll be back in a minute. I have my lard in there. I'm going to get this melted a little bit. I'd say it's about, not quite, maybe 2 tablespoons. And then we're going to be putting in my onions. Sauteing these onions down so they're almost translucent, and I'm going to put the garlic in when we're almost there. This garlic doesn't take long to cook into food. I don't want to burn it. Okay, this recipe is a hot pack. So I have my jars in the dishwasher, and they are getting cleaned and warmed up, so I'm going to leave them in there until I start. Now the recipe calls for about 5 quart jars. I'm going to do mine in quart. I have 7. I'm going to be using, I have 7 going in the dishwasher. I'm going to be using my small Presto, which holds 7 quarts. It's perfect for this kind of project. Okay, once you have your garlic in, saute this another maybe a minute. And then I'm going to be putting my beef in, and we're going to brown off the beef. You do not want to cook it completely. You just want to kind of brown it. I am now adding my meat in. I have these cut up into about 1-inch cubes, and I left some of the fat on. Grab that. Okay. Take my glove off, put that in my bowl. Have this browning off. And as I mentioned, you do not want to cook it all the way through. Now we're going to be adding all our liquids and the mushrooms. So I'm going to put the mushrooms in next. This was 1.5 pounds. Basically, it was 3 of those, you know, I think it's 12 ounces square mushrooms came out. I did weigh it, but that's basically all 3 of them. What made 1.5 pounds of mushrooms. All right, I'm going to stir that in. Now I'm going to put in my 3 cups of beef broth. settled a little bit, so I put some water in there. Red wine vinegar. Soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce. And salt and pepper. I put less salt in than the recipe called for. I didn't want it to be too salty. When I opened this up, I could always add more. The recipe called for 2 tablespoons. I did 1 1/4. Okay, so you're going to heat this through. Do I have everything? Yes, I do. Okay. That's why I like to measure everything out, so you don't have to watch me do that. But secondly, that way I don't miss any ingredients. It's just my way. All right, so we're going to bring this up to a medium boil. And we're gonna do that for 5 minutes. And then we'll be back and it'll be time to fill your jars. Here is 5 minutes. This is a hot pack. And you'll see that the mushrooms reduce down. And now we're just gonna pack it into jars. And you're gonna leave 1-inch headspace. Put my funnel on. Debubble. And then I'm going to wipe my rim. This is just so there isn't anything on there to have the actual lid not seal. Finger tight. All right, my canner is warming up. Now I'm going to put this into the warming canner. Again, put your funnel on. Get my mixture into the jar. Make sure I get liquid up to 1-inch headspace. Debubble. Wipe my rim. I do not have vinegar on this, by the way. Just making sure I get it nice and clean with a dry paper towel. I'm gonna grab my lid. And again, put your ring or band, fingertip tight, into the warming canner. All right, I'm gonna get these all filled and then I'll bring you back and we'll see how many jars I get and I will show you the next steps in the canning process. I ended up with 5 quarts, which is exactly what the recipe said it would do. So that was perfect. I do have 2 filler jars in here so stuff doesn't bang around. And I'm gonna get my lid on and get the process going. I have my lid on and I do check this first. You always want to check that this is completely free of anything and not blocked. And then this is down. I'm going to slowly start heating this up. I put this on a medium-high heat. I don't go full throttle. I feel like the slower the better versus just going all in right away. It's better for the jars that way, that they don't heat up too quickly. What we're gonna do is we're gonna heat this up and we're gonna be watching for a steady stream of steam coming out of here. Here is the steady stream of steam. Now I'm going to begin timing for 10 minutes. That will allow all the air to evacuate out of your canner and to create a steam. After your 10 minutes, you're going to put your weight on, and then you're going to let the gauge come up to 10 pounds of pressure, and then you're going to start your timing. I am going to be 90 minutes because I did quart jars. If it was pint, it's 75 minutes. After 90 minutes, let your canner cool down and slowly get your jars out and acclimating to the temperature. Here they are, 5 quarts. Now I'm going to be letting them sit for 12 to 24 hours, make sure everything seals, take my bands off, wash them, and they're ready to be labeled and stored. And that's everything for today. Thank you for coming along, and if you like what you saw, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. Thank you for visiting the Miller Life Kitchen, and I will see you next time. Have a great day.